when we're drafting, word count is a very obvious metric of success. When you see that word count growing, you know, yes, I am making progress, things are happening. It's very motivating to see the word count growing. However, what makes editing difficult, I would argue, as I've witnessed in hundreds of writers at this point, is that the word count is no longer a metric of success. We've just gone from I'm getting words, I'm feeling good, this is making progress, and now we're editing, and now it might be minus word count. Is that a metric of success? How do we track that? How do we feel good about the progress we're making? Because we are making progress, but what's a way to track it? What's a metric of success that is less obvious than word count goals? I'll kick us off. Something that helped me when I was tracking words in TrackBear. TrackBear is a service where you can track your words, but you can also track your time spent. And I thought, wow, time is valuable. And so if I'm spending my time on something, then it is obviously going to show that I am making progress on it. Every time I sit with my story, it's moving the needle, even just a little bit, even if it just feels like it was just a sentence or just this idea, when really that one idea could affect the whole system, right? I'm going through health stuff, and the doctor was like, yeah, if you have one thing, that can mess up the whole environment. And so it's like, okay, doc, yeah, all right. What's in life is also in writing. However, sometimes I am thinking about my story while I'm driving or I'm making dinner or whatever, and I can't track that time spent. And so, what does that metric of success look like? Oh, it's when I write it down in my story Bible or in my outline, and I can see that outline of that story Bible getting beefier, right, and longer and more complicated. What if that was also a metric of success? How about you guys? I'd love to hear from other hedgies. All right, Kristen, what's a metric of success coming up for you that's not word count?
Yeah, it's never been word count for me. For me, it's when I've reached the emotional depth of the
Ooh.
characters because I can write the scene, but if it hasn't touched the way I want it to touch, then I have to keep digging deeper. So when I've got that scene, I've got a conversation because mine's very dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
So when I've got that scene, when I've got that emotional depth, I can look back on it and say, okay, we can move on to the next thing. That's my measure.
Cool. And it's not like you don't have like a thermometer, maybe an invisible thermometer, right? But
Well, it's
otherwise,
like a
it's
heat
a
thermometer,
feeling.
It's like
Yeah.
if it made me warm and fuzzy or if it made me cry, then yeah, I
Yeah.
got heat.
If the scene matches the emotions that you wanted, but also if it affected you, then
Yeah.
you know, okay, I made progress here.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anybody else? Yeah, bestie.
Hello. Yeah, like Kristen, I'm also not a word count person. I quantify my first draft by how funny it is. Even if
Oh,
the genre is not comedy, I can't get through it as a writer unless I'm laughing out loud. So my metric of success is laugh count. If I am crying with laughter, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. And I have been on many a prickle. People are like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "It's really, really funny," and it just came out of me. But it doesn't stay that way usually. There has to be some like shade in that. But to get that first draft done, I go with laughs. But also I like to work with beats.
mhm.
So I divide the story into eight, and at the end of each of those eight mini movies is a character pivot. The characters learned something, or it's like a key moment, or their goal has changed or something big has happened. And so I go through which bit of that mini movie have I done today?
Cool.
Is it getting the character closer to that change? The character's external goal has to change through the story.
Yes.
And it's the external goal change at the end of each beat that keeps the reader reading because they can't always want the same thing because we don't always want the same thing.
Yeah.
So they have to change with the chapter. Oh, chapter of life, I mean, not in the book.
Agreed. Thank you so much for sharing that, bestie.
I do scenes and
Mhm.
I get my dopamine. I finished a thing hit because I have a note card for each scene. And this is my draft for note card holder. And so after I'm done with the scene, it just goes in the back. And that's when I
Hey.
get my dopamine hit. And each scene has notes. What do I need to have in that scene? What is the character really thinking internally? And if during editing, if I remember, oh, I change the character's name, I can find note cards and put a sticky note on it and say, this changed. So I know that for the next draft, I need to do that.
Very cool. It becomes a living, breathing tracker for you that you can keep revisiting. I'm loving this insight into progress. And then, Jamie, I'm dying to know, how do you know that you're making progress on your outlining and your character development? What's your metric of success?
Yes, it's checklists. It gives me something tangible to follow. So I have a guide, and it's not just like I need to do this specific thing. It's breaking it down into smaller steps because that makes it a lot easier, and it's very satisfying to check
Yeah.
something off. So, and that does help motivate me to keep going. And
Who made these checklists? Did you make the checklist? Where did you get the prompts and stuff for the character
um,
development?
it's just kind of goes along with my story binder. I'm filling in my story binder and Scrivener. So it's probably what I picked up through the years and just intuitive what I need for the story. So,
Excellent. Yes, good reminder that the things that we pick up along the way become our own process that helps us feel good about the progress that we're making. Thank you so much, Hedgies. I hope that the Hedgies watching this are able to also give their own tools, their own metrics of success, because we often get so caught up in, oh no, I'm not moving forward enough, or I haven't made enough progress, when really every single time we touch our story, something has happened, something has developed, we've thought about something, and that is not to be taken for granted. Editing feels so hard for so many writers. They're trying to measure progress with the wrong metric. Inside the Quill Cup Self Editing Academy, we actually walk through what to look for so you're not guessing what counts as progress. If this is something you're looking forward to or want to learn more about, go check us out, Quill Cup, on Instagram or quillandcup.com/self hyphen editing hyphen academy. I hope to see you in class. Bye.